Let me get a little sip of coffee, please. Near his 87th birthday, President Harry Truman was hospitalized with pneumonia. The doctors advised him to move to Florida, St. Petersburg, to recuperate. Most of his contemporaries were dead. Adlai Stevenson, Winston Churchill, General Douglas MacArthur. When the word came to him that Dwight Eisenhower had died, it really depressed him. Do you know what he said? He said, I'm beginning to feel like the last leaf on the tree. Some days I feel like I'm the last leaf on the tree. My friends are gone. My friends who I grew up with, my school buddies are gone. David Davison, we stayed in each other's home every weekend. He was my best friend, just like your little one. We went everywhere together. Hey, he was coming to work one morning and to open his business. He had a good business, and they asked him for protection money in Belfast. He said, if you want money, just do what I do. You should work. And they shot him in the face. Killed him. That was my best friend, David Davison. That was my best friend. People I've worked with, James, Jack, Alex, Dean English, Alistair, Graham, Joe, they've all gone. They're not here no more. I feel like the last leaf on the tree. And I'm glad they hung on so long. And I'm glad that they lived a life and were able to make some changes and do some great work. But you and I know the cycle of life. As I took the place of those before me, the time's coming when others will shove me out and take my place one day. I'm okay with that. It's been said the workman dies, but the work goes on, and our labour is not in vain. And the more the leaves around us fall, the more we wonder, is that all there is to life, the cycle? Is that all there is? Am I living my life to the fullest? I want to make the most of what I've left. I can't wait for the planes to fly again so that I can jump on a plane. Are we making the most of what's left? You know, I think about this all the time. Sometimes we just twiddle away. God has given us wonderful, wonderful opportunities to reach the lost. And we sit around and we think, well, you know, they don't really listen to me. We need to start living for something or someone bigger than ourselves. We need to start living, knowing our purpose in life and our reason for living, and the staying power and the ability to go on, even in the face of adversity. Tom Brokaw wrote a book a while back, used to be a newsreader in Channel 4, NBC, The Greatest Generation. And he tells us in World War II how repeatedly men endured prison, abuse, and the carnage, the starvation, because they had a girlfriend or a wife or a child back home. Maybe a wife they were going to marry, maybe a girlfriend, or a girlfriend they were going to marry, if they were married, a girlfriend they were going to marry. But something kept them going. There was something back home, and went home to my sweetheart to marry her. You know, parents of some tangible hope. It sometimes gives us the reason to live. Viktor Frankl, in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, talks about how people lived in such inhumane, degrading, incredible suffering, concentration camps. But if they had a compelling reason to live, like I said, a wife or a child, if there's a why, you see, he who has a why to live can bear almost anything. You hear me? Why are you here? To take up space? Of course not. What is the why of your life? What is it that keeps you going? What is it that gives you reason to get up in the morning and go to work and do the things that you do day after day after day after day after day? And of course, the most worthy cause and the highest and best cause is Jesus Christ, the pearl of great price, the treasure that's found in the field, Matthew 13, verse 44 through 46. He is worth living for. Jesus said in Mark chapter 8, verse 35, whoever wants to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for me and the gospel's sake will save it. There's a God-shaped vacuum, a hole in our hearts, something within our soul. There is a vacuum that only God can fill. I've tried the world. I've tried the world. You have too. You have too. I've tried the world. And until he is the ultimate source of everything in our lives, there's going to be an emptiness that material possessions cannot fill the void. Cars, homes, jewelry, gadgets. Jesus warns of the deceitfulness of riches. Wealth, just an illusion. You can be happy without it, and you know this, you've been happy before, but none of these things can fill the emptiness. None of them. Self-advancement. Striving to be number one. Number one of what? Why do you want to be number one? Striving for what? Position? Prominence? Ken Burns produced many documentaries. He done one on country music, but he also done one on the Roosevelts. And he said of President Theodore Roosevelt, he said he wanted to be the bride at every wedding. Am I that bad? I want to be the bride. I mean, he wanted to be the bride at every wedding. He wanted to be the baby at every christening. He wanted to be the corpse at every funeral. Number one, climb the ladder of success. I've reached the pinnacle. Jesus warns of self-promotion, worldly ambition, and all of that good stuff. The bitterest sorrow a man can know is to aspire to do much and achieve nothing. I want to make the most of my life. And I know I need to move from self. I know I need to stop living for myself. I was visiting my grandchild one day there, and I looked at him and I gave him a hug and I said, you know what? I sure love you. I sure love you. And he only answered me back, me too. I said, pardon? He says, me too. You talk about a good self-image. I said, no, son. I said, I love you. He said, yeah, me too. I love me too. I would have slapped him. No, you're supposed to say, I love you, Papa Jack. No, I love me too. You talk about a self-image. I love me too. I'll not tell you which one that was. Can you imagine which one it was? He just looked at me and he says, me too. Me too. I'm telling you now. I want to live my life to the fullest. And I want to share with you a couple of verses, and I hope they make sense to you. They've given me a lot of prayers and a lot of help over the last 6 years. I was afraid. I turned 70, and I said, who wants the 70-year-old preacher? I said, I'm old, I'm over the hill, my best years are gone, and I was frightened. I was frightened. Listen to the psalmist, and I have prayed this prayer to God 5,000 times since I read it. Cast me not off in my old age, God. I prayed, Lord, don't turn me out, Lord. Listen to what I prayed. Do not forsake me, Lord, when my strength fails. When my enemies speak against me and lay wait for my soul, take counsel together. Lord, I ask you, don't be far from me. Stay with me, Lord. Stay with me. Now, here's what I kept reading and praying every single night when I got sick, when I got cancer, stage 4 cancer. I will go in the strength of the Lord God. I want to make mention of your righteousness. O God, you have taught me from my youth how to declare your wondrous works. And here's what I prayed. Lord, now I am old and grey-headed, O God. Forsake me not, until I have showed thy strength unto this generation and the next to come. Thy righteousness also, O God, is very high. Lord, increase my strength, and don't cast me out, or don't cast me up. Don't put me out to pasture. I still got something I need to do. And I prayed that prayer every single night. I was afraid. I was afraid I was over the hill. I was afraid I was finished as a gospel preacher. And after 50 years of preaching, I kept saying to myself, well, what am I going to do? I've been doing this for so long, and how am I going to manage? And then I prayed, and I prayed, and I prayed, and I prayed. Now listen to this. Would you listen to this little verse here? Please, please, just listen to this here. The days of our years, 80. Now this is Psalm 90, verse 10 and following. Now please listen to this here. The days of my years are 80. 70. My time is up. I'm past my allotted shelf life. Hey, take me off the shelf and put me in the... Hey, 70. Who wants a 70-year-old? We need some of these young guys to come in, and they've got all the media and everything else, and the computer and everything else. So here, Lord, you've given me 70 years. I said, so, but I kept on reading. But if by reason of strength, well, my body's not strong. I got stage 4 cancer, but my mind's strong, and my heart's strong, and my soul's strong. Now listen to this here. But if by reason of strength, you can make 80 years. Strength and sorrow. He says you can go to 80 years old. And I said, what? He says you can live to 80 years old. He said you don't have to go in 70. He says you can go 80. Strength, labor, sorrow. But he said, because of your flower. Okay, so I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, like my friend Virgil Trout. I prayed, Lord, would you give me a couple more years? I prayed like Hezekiah, who when God said to Hezekiah, you're finished, you're out of here, he went to his room and he cried and he prayed. And God gave him 15 years more life. I didn't ask God for 15 years. I asked him, I says, Lord, can I have a couple more years so that I can get back to my friends in Ireland and tell them about his wonderful grace and mercy and love and strength and faithfulness. Can you just give me a couple more years, Lord? Now, I may be crazy, but I feel I'm going to live to 80 years old. Nah, if I get dementia, if I lose my mind, my marbles and everything else, I want to go home tonight. Because I'm not afraid of death. I'm like the Apostle Paul. For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. Yes, death, gain, on the same line. And unlike the Apostle Paul in Philippians chapter 1, when he was pulled, he wanted to stay and preach the word, but he realized it'd be far better if I went home to glory to be with Jesus Christ. And I'm pulled. I want to be with my grandchildren. I want to be with you. I want to be with you all for the next few years. I want to keep on preaching as long as I can do it. But I realized it would be better if I went to glory. So whatever happens is going to be okay. But I honestly feel, Bertie Ritchie, I feel I'll be back to see you someday. I'll be back to see their congregation at Coleraine and other places. Now, call me stupid, call me wishful thinking, doesn't matter, I don't care. I don't really care. I believe God's going to keep me around till I finish my glorious work, his glorious work. May God bless you today. May God keep you. I hope this little lesson made some kind of sense. It does to me, so it probably doesn't to you, but I hope it made some kind of sense to you, that you might get something from it. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.